As a pain and weight loss coach, I help people who have often struggled with weight loss and or pain for a really long time. And I wanted to take a moment to make a video that talks about how it's different trying to lose weight when you struggle with chronic pain or chronic symptoms like fatigue or anxiety or depression, because so often there are no special places for people who struggle with these kinds of things. And then you're looking at all of this information that can feel really overwhelming. And also kind of makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It get tired even thinking about it, or you know that your pain is going to get higher if you try it. And so you kind of go into any kind of weight loss program feeling already defeated. So I want to talk about how it's different when you struggle with pain or anxiety or any other kind of mind body syndrome. And hopefully, this will help you to navigate it a little bit more simply. So, starting off, the first thing that is so important when you're struggling with some kind of pain or symptom is to really learn how to listen to your body. And this doesn't mean notice when you have pain and take medication. It doesn't mean to call the doctor every time something happens or to Google on the internet. It really means understanding that pain, fatigue, and weight gain are messengers. And because of the way that our nervous system is built, our brain and our body are not separate. And so we've kind of been taught that that's two things: we have mind problems and then body problems. But the truth is, your brain and your body work together so seamlessly that you really cannot disconnect the two. And what that means is that you need to learn the language of the nervous system. And I think the easiest way to think about this is when you go and you have to do a presentation or a speech. Let's imagine you have to give a speech to 100 people and you're not used to that. So your body is going to have a physical response. It's not just that you're afraid, it's that your stomach is tight or knotted. You might feel flushed, your heart beats like crazy. And so there is that connection, right? Of I have this fear and my body is responding to that. And that doesn't only happen when we're in really high stress situations, it happens all of the time, all day. Your emotional reaction is creating changes in the body. And learning how to understand how that affects pain is so important. And when I did my pain reprocessing therapy training, the one sentence that really stuck out to me is learn how to turn one eye in. And what that means is instead of only looking at the physical symptom, you have to turn one eye in and notice what's happening emotionally too. What kind of stress are you under? What are the relationship strains that you're feeling right now? And what other different little things in your life could be creating some tension in the body or some bracing or even lost sleep? We've got to understand both of those two pieces and learn how to listen to the body in a new way. And when you do this, the next piece of that comes with it is to reduce the fear and find safety. So often we feel pain and immediately we're wondering, oh my gosh, what is this? It's going to be bad today. I'm so tired. I can't even get out of bed. I have so much to do. This is going to set me back. And this only escalates our symptoms more. It only increases the fear or the danger that's held in the nervous system because your brain, your body, your nervous system can't tell the difference between when you have a work deadline or when it's being chased by a wild animal. And so it responds in the same way with the pounding heart and the release of cortisol. And so we have to start to find safety within the body. And that can mean noticing the pain or the symptom. And then instead of just noticing pain, you can notice the quality of the sensations underneath it. So, are you feeling tension? Are you feeling warmth? Are you feeling pressure? What are the pieces of that symptom or that experience that you're feeling? If you're feeling tired, where do you feel tired? Where is that heaviness? How do you know? Is it a headache? Is it pressure in your eyes? You want to really understand it. And then once you can be with the sensation, the nervous system kind of learns that it's not maybe as dangerous after all, and it can turn down the pain or the symptom. And along with this, with these two processes, is learning how to regulate your nervous system. And so, really noticing the body's sensations and how your emotions and symptoms are linked is so important. And we're so used to holding back emotion. It's not okay to be angry. It's not okay to have grief. In our society, we don't necessarily allow emotion to come through. And while that's okay, you don't want to cry at work, but there are times where you do have to come home and allow the emotion to move through the body instead of being held back. Because what happens is as you hold all of that emotion back, the body braces and all of that energy is pushed down. And again, it creates tension patterns in the body and increases the danger signal in the brain. And so, with that, we have to learn how to complete our stress cycles instead of holding them back. And so, most of us, we encounter stress every single day. It doesn't matter who you are, we have stress in our lives, and there's really no avoiding it. Stress can be really healthy. The problem is when you're encountering stressor after stressor and not giving yourself time to process and rest in between. And so, to complete the stress cycles, what you have to do is learn how it feels in the body to have that stress and learn how to move it through. So, some examples of this is to notice at the end of the day when you're feeling really anxious or tight. Maybe you can go for a walk and really that helps circulate the stress hormones through the body so that you can metabolize them and your body has a place to put that energy. And another piece of this is learning how to decode your cravings. And so instead of just saying it's the food that's the problem, we want to really understand what is going on beyond the food. Because it's a three-part process. It's understanding what are your thoughts and feelings towards the food, but then also what are your thoughts and feelings when you reach for the food? Because if you're anything like me, I can have certain foods in the house most of the time. But then there's a certain mood that I get into where I know that's actually the time where I'm going to reach for these foods. So for you, it might be after work, or it might be that 3 o'clock slump in the afternoon, or it might be right before bed. The kids have gone to sleep and you finally have a break, and now you're in the pantry, even though you know it's better for you to go to sleep. And so, what we have to do is start to untangle physical hunger, listening to our stomach to tell us when it's time to eat versus emotional hunger. And as you start to pull those two apart, then you can listen to the physical needs of your body. And also, you can acknowledge the emotional needs of your body without resorting to food or using other things that numb you and make you feel better, even though it makes you feel worse in the long run. The other thing that I always recommend for someone who has pain or chronic symptoms is to switch to an anti inflammatory diet. It's so important to give your body the right environment for healing. And switching to an anti inflammatory diet allows your body to have everything it needs to heal so that you can start feeling energized and feeling more like yourself again. And so, some simple things that you can do to do this is increase the number of fruits and vegetables that you're eating. Look for lean proteins, add omega-3 fatty acids. Try to limit or eliminate sugar as much as you can, and also trying to limit or eliminate processed foods as much as you can. Processed foods are categorized based on the number of ingredients that they have. So, any processed food that has more than 4 ingredients is considered an ultra processed food. And those are foods that we really want to try to avoid. And then also the other thing that I always look for in packages is to avoid foods that have more than 4 grams of sugar in them. So those two things, just the 4 grams of sugar and 4 ingredients alone can help really clean up some of the processed foods and the inflammatory things in your diet. So for most of my clients, we don't really talk a lot about exercise until after we've addressed pain or fatigue or whatever symptom it is that they're experiencing. But one of the last things that you can do is to add some gentle movement into your routine. And I know oftentimes we're told that it's not enough to go for a walk or it's not enough to just do some gentle yoga that's more like stretching. But in this case, less is more. When you're starting out, when you really have struggled with pain and weight loss for a long time, less is more. You want to start to create some safety around these new movements. And for so long, if you've been beating yourself up and forcing yourself to do things, you've created this association of pain with exercise. And what we need to do is start to pull that apart and start to uncouple it because we don't want your brain predicting that it's going to be really painful every time you exercise. So you want to really do movement that feels good for your body. For me, I love finding beautiful spaces to go to. So that might mean walking on trails or walking in a neighborhood where I love looking at the houses. And it really allows your nervous system to feel safety with that movement instead of the harshness or the punishment that often happens when we're trying to use willpower or discipline. And when you have that harshness and that kind of forceful attitude towards exercise, it actually tells the nervous system to turn the pain up because the nervous system is feeling a threat. And so we really have to move through exercise in the gentlest way possible to begin with. And then last, you really have to learn how to love yourself through it. Self compassion is the most important piece of both weight loss and pain recovery. Oftentimes, people who struggle with pain and weight loss are perfectionists. And oftentimes, they're people pleasers. So they go out of their way to do things for other people while neglecting their own needs. Oftentimes, you're an overachiever. And so you want to do things perfectly and get everything done. But the truth is, when you're in this process, you have to give yourself so much grace. You will make mistakes. There will be times where you eat things that you know you didn't mean to. There will be times when you wish you would have gone for a walk or done some kind of exercise. And what we have to do is start to give ourselves forgiveness and also support. So you want to go into any program really feeling like you're talking to yourself like you would your best friend. So I hope these tips really help you to understand how pain and weight loss work together and start to help you understand how your nervous system is such an important piece of both of these two processes. If you have any questions, just drop them in the link below and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.